running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm
You have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
What's going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? A happy belated Memorial Day, and of course, rest in peace. Obviously, for me, acknowledging this is late, but because of the timeliness of this movie, I felt like it was perfect to acknowledge the show and start out that way, given the appropriate situation. And yes, rest in peace to Val Kilmer, aka the Iceman. So not only is that's one big occasion, also this is the 3rd year anniversary of the theatrical release of Top Gun Maverick, because this did come out on May 27th, 2022. Even though this was originally supposed to come out in 2020, got pushed back to 2021 and 2022. We'll get into that later, but it's good to see you all here. Thank you guys for being here. Hell yeah. Let's acknowledge those faces. You guys are commenting like a son of a bitch. What's up, Lord Thoth? Nick the Greek, deleted scenes. Penny, hello. Vince, Womack, Dave C. How's it going, Dave C? Nice to see you. D-Bud, Martin, Davida Duckworth, Jonathan 93. How's it going? Jonathan Conroy. Got the Johns coming all up in here. Hello, Steve Mitchum, Maddie's daddy. How you doing, dude? Nice to see you here. Thank you, thank you. I see the bodies are just piling all up in here. Of course, we are on Rumble as well, so we are dual streaming there for those of you who like to have it both ways. We are doing it both ways, so I'm just giving you all outlets that because the more the merrier. And of course, inevitably, that's where we transition to for the later portion of the show. So I'm just going to bring on all our dudes at once, and I'll do quick intros because it's a girthy type of movie, and I want to make our dudes get in here and get to the sliding quickly. We'll start introducing Mark. Hi, Mark. Oh, yeah, Mark left. He'll be back. Hi, 70.
Hi. Mark's decided to leave because this film is not as gay as the first one. So he can't win. Good evening. I have my Maverick box set, so I'm good to go. My box of goodies from them.
Ooh,
so yes,
nice.
It's
that's
a nice box of goodies. I like it a lot.
Dude, it takes up your hands really nicely.
Indeed, it fills my hands. It's very girthy, this box.
Some say it's the best thing in your hands.
Some say it's the girthiest box. No box has been as wide as this. And it's very deep when you get into it. It's deep.
Ooh, deep. Does it take your breath away?
I've always hated. It's funny, I've always really hated that record, but never mind. Weirdly enough.
Good to see you, right? 70s.
Yes, I'm here despite the
dog.
We made the mistake as pensioners of getting a new dog Wee puppy. So you might hear sort of squeaking and banging and thumping
That's
and
fine.
shouting going on. And that's just me.
I
I'm knackered.
love
However,
it.
it'll be worth it in the end, I'm sure. One day.
Oh yeah, you'll get there. You'll get
Indeed.
there.
So it's interrupted my streaming a little bit, but I'm here tonight
Hey, I'm
to
glad you're
entertain
here.
you.
I'm glad you dudes are here. Hey, Vane Juggalo Deathcock. Hail y'all, can't ride each other's tail at the same time. Good to see you, Juggalo. Had a great time hanging at Milwaukee Metal Fest. It was a fantastic time. Lots of docking in our hotel room. Docking, I think there was
There's
Night
a lot of
Ranger
docking or
as
docking.
well. It was crazy. It was Exodus, Morbid Angel a lot, and then lots of glam. It was fucking nuts and awesome.
Mhm.
Nice chill session of drinking and music. And then
Nice.
that Alice Cooper burger was truly poison, like he says in the damn song.
Mhm.
But we got Mark D with a C here. Sir, how are you?
Oh, doing excellent. Yep. I hope everyone had in the States, we had a holiday weekend. Of course, it's Memorial Day. It's to remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. So it's kind of turned into, barbecue and party shopping weekend. But really, it's good fitting to do Top Gun Maverick tonight, day after Memorial Day in the States here, because, military movie honoring those people that are a lot braver than me, because I'm not getting a jet plane shooting towards the Death Star trying to hit that exhaust port like Tom Cruise did tonight. So
I know.
yeah, doing
I'd never seen that plot before. Never.
Did
Totally.
you have any meat on Memorial Day, Mark?
I went very, low key. It was just like hamburgers and hot dogs. And it was just we went to there's like a pool club we belonged to. We just did the snack bar there. And it was very, the kids then, like the kids were supposed to be home. I was going to cook. Like I had some good meats to cook that I could show off my meat to Eric K and you guys. But the kids decided to go out and hang out with their friends. I don't know why, but so we just went
How
very
disloyal of them.
disloyal. Like, what are you guys doing? Yeah,
You mean
so,
they don't want to hang out with their
Give them a
parents?
few years, and they'll come right back to you and realize that the food you make is better.
yeah. Well, my son was complimented. Like I made steak one night. Well, Friday night I did cook something quick. It was filet mignon actually, and
It
he's
was
like
flaming. I'm sure it was.
Good. It was good. Yeah. It was good. Yeah. So he's like, I think they kind of do appreciate, but they want to hang out with their friends. And I tried to get them to watch Star Wars. I wanted to set up I have a movie theater. I can bring my projector out, and I have one of those sheet project. Hang to the
projector.
house.
That
sheep
sounds good. A sheep projector.
Sheep projector.
A screen, a hanging screen. Yeah, and no one wanted to watch Star Wars me on the real Star Wars day, so that was disappointing. So
that is disappointing.
Even though you had the VHS ready, nobody wanted.
I had the VHS ready to go, and I had the SV. Well, I had the component cables coming out to the projector. Even better.
Yeah. SCART. We used to call them SCARTs, wasn't it? We had SCART cables,
SCARTs.
the big ones like this,
the big ones,
multiple pins.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, it's a huge, divine, pleasure to have you here, and we also have a red shirt.
Yeah.
Diagonally away from me. Hi, red shirt.
Hey, Nick Weiser. Yeah, this Memorial Day, I was reminded of a trip that I took to Hawaii earlier this year. And we did a tour where we went to the Arizona Memorial and the Punch Bowl Cemetery, which is I think the Memorial and Cemetery of the Pacific. Mm-hmm. And boy, I tell you, walking onto the Arizona Memorial over the wreck of the Arizona is a sobering thing, because you go to the back wall and every name of every sailor that lost his life on board that ship is on that wall. And it's really pretty sobering. And
do they still have the oil? The oil is bubbling up, or did they cap the oil? I think finally, or you can see the ship, right?
Yeah, you can see the aft part of the ship, the bow, because the sides blew out in the explosion sank her. So the foredeck is underwater, but the after part of the ship, you can actually see some of the structures, like the base of the turret.
It's not that
And
deep. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, the whole thing is essentially falling apart due to corrosion. But there are two small blocks in the end of the memorial where they have other names, and those are uh, the names of sailors and Marines that served and Army guys who served in, or at least sailors and Marines that served on the Arizona that weren't killed that day or weren't on board her that day. And everyone who has served aboard the Arizona was entitled to be interred, have their ashes interred aboard the wreck. And they explained the process that they cremate the person, they put it in an urn, and a diver takes them down and puts the urn in a compartment aboard the sunken ship. And the tour guide explained that the last man that they had interred there that way had been something like 94 years old. He said, "I don't think we're going to see any more." So I think the last sailor of the on the Arizona has come home, and it's something else to see. If you ever get a chance to go to Oahu, for us it was kind of the trip of a lifetime to go. And the Punch Bowl Cemetery is very, very interesting. The it's in an ancient volcanic crater that overlooks Honolulu, and we rode through it very, very slowly in our tour bus. We couldn't park, and at first, when you see the place, it looks like a park. You can see the big memorial at the end of the loop from the parking lot, but you can't. There are no standing gravestones. The gravestones are all volcanic stone set flat into the ground and engraved there. And the lawn is mowed perfectly around everything. And when you first see it, it looks like a park. And then you start noticing rows of gray rectangular stones marching off into the distance. And you realize basically the whole floor of that crater is covered in graves. And as I said on Twitter before I even came back from Hawaii, I said visited the memorial for the Arizona and the Punch Bowl Cemetery. There's a debt there that can never be repaid. It can only be honored.
Yep.
So
Every year.
that's what we do on Memorial Day. We honor that debt.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you mentioned that, red shirt. That was a perfect segue. Actually, I'll be quick on this, but 11 years ago, and I'll say one of these guys, Juggalo Deathcock, me, Juggalo Deathcock, a few other guys, we went to a metal fest in Baltimore, and after we left the festival, we're like, hey, we should go to Washington D.C. And we decided to go there. It's probably like an hour drive from Baltimore to D.C. You know, we went everywhere. Went Washington Monument, World War II Memorial, Thomas Jefferson Memorial, of course, the White House. Yes, that is me, top right, clean shaven, baby face. That's right. It was hot as shit that day. We smelled.
Who's there? Obama's there, or
I don't know if he was actually there that day. Obviously, he was in the White House
11 years ago. Yeah, it was Obama. Yeah.
And if you look at where it says PPS, it says Buzz Aldrin gave us the horns, which he did. He was doing the traditional parade wave. Then he turned his hand into horns and then realized what he was doing and then caught himself breaking character, went back into character. It was a very real moment. And then also, I did park at the United States Capitol, and somehow my car didn't get ticketed, towed, destroyed, anything. I had my car there for a long time that day.
Get vandalized by being painted in rainbow colors, though?
No, shockingly.
You parked an AOC spot, Nick, or what would you do?
Well, she wasn't even in politics then, at least to my knowledge.
She still isn't, really.
This is 24. This is 11 years ago. So yeah, he remembers. It was an incredible moment. Is that Nick in the middle?
No. That's Malcolm in the middle.
Malcolm in the middle. Oh no, I can't. I know who that is. I don't know if he would want me to say his name in public yet, so I had to ask him. Because I don't know how he feels on that type of stuff. But yeah, why I'm bringing this up is not just because of what we visit, because what it add to my personal life experience, because obviously this is how we know we were celebrating the actual Memorial Day. But I used to see this stuff in like movies, like Forrest Gump per se. I used to think, oh yeah, cool, I guess, type of thing. But it was one of those things where I didn't realize and understand its importance until I was actually there. It kind of actually like made me think very differently once I'm actually there around all that stuff, how important this all was. And that was probably the very first day. Now, obviously, the journey from red pilling probably was like 6, 7 years throughout. It was a very slow journey, but let's just say that was day one. Day one. But yeah, a very incredible, life affirming moment, one that I'll never forget. Once again, hot as shit, parked at the Capitol, being towed. We smelled bad. We got lost in Virginia by some scary giant sign that said Cabin John on it. I'll never forget it. And, well, we learned a lot about America that day and how great it truly
America.
is. That's right. So, Mark, you ready to slide it in?
Yeah, ready to slide it in. Yep, yep. Oh, did you get any pit
Oh,
beef when you were down there? Did we hear
dude,
pit beef?
no, I heard Pippi. If I did, I would have not had time because,
It's like a
dude,
sidewalk. It's like a It's like a steak sandwich you get down there. They call it pit beef.
walking to everywhere was a long walk to everywhere in DC. To walk to everywhere, it was always a long walk. And also, I've never had more confusing traffic in my life. I've never like
Yeah,
the roads in DC were and they don't usually like roads are bad when you have like skyscrapers to
DC
deal
is
with.
really bad. DC is
And we
bad.
had
Yeah,
no skyscrapers, and yet it was worse than anything with skyscrapers. It was insane. Oh, it's
DC
Matt.
is DC is really bad. Oh, oh, yeah. Here's Matt. Yep. Yeah, he was in the movie, so yeah, we should have him on to interview him. Yep.
Tom's like stuck in the talk about, hey, we'll be here, Tom. All right, don't worry, man. He must be listening. You have your Taco Bell, your Taco Hell right after, and we'll be here. Okay. So yeah, let's just get, and Mark, just let it blaze through because we gotta make sure we hit it on time for hour 20
Well, I have less slides this week. I restrained
for
myself. Yeah.
also for Rumble. So
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
have video clips there too. So, anyways, dudes, yeah, Top Gun Maverick. I guess I'll get my life story. Awesome time of seeing this in advance. So yeah, obviously I had gotten a thing about seeing this movie 4 or 5 days before its theatrical release. I'm like, I have to go. There's no way I don't go to something like this. And I remember trying to ask some people around locally. No one at the time was available to do it. Some people were like off heading up to like I think Baltimore. Very funnily enough, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna fly it freaking solo to go see this flick. Um, I went down about 40-minute drive to this theater that was having this one-off screening, advanced screening. And I remember how packed it was. And it was one of those like IMAX screens where the seats shake and everything's extra loud.
Nice.
And I remember lots of like military guys with that. I saw a lot of jean jackets, and vests with patches, military patches. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. They gave us Top Gun posters and pins. I was like, dude, this is flipping sweet. Like, holy crap, this is a hell of an experience. Then before I knew it, I was with this whole packed audience seeing Top Gun Maverick in advance. And it was so cool to experience that with all these like veterans. It was incredible. And man, just movie absolutely just freaking blew me away. I saw it a week later with my girlfriend at the time as well. So I was happy to say I gave my money to his movie twice. Of course, own it on Blu-ray. But it was cool to like be in that audience for the theatrical experience on the IMAX screen with the shaking seat and the loudness, dude. Man, it really does add to the movie. Like, and that's once again the testament to the greatness of the movie theater experience. Top Gun Maverick
Yep.
is a great watch at at the home. I did it
This is what
yesterday.
movies should be.
Yesterday I did it, and I've done a handful of times since. But the theatrical experience, this movie, man, it really does, for lack of a better term, turn it to 11.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, and
what
you
movies
miss out
should
on
be.
that.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
you miss
Mark.
out on that at home. You miss out on that at home. We all say that, right? It's great when you get to the movie. There's especially a movie like Top Gun, right? I mean, the beach volleyball scene looks so much better, and then also the
Dude, you could
football
really
scene.
see those, triceps and biceps,
Yeah,
pectorals, the glistening sweat.
it was
It was
good.
all there, right in your
was so good.
face.
Dude,
Made the sheep jealous.
it was insane. Like seeing it all like come together, because I was following this movie very closely as it was coming, because I remember the delays. I remember hearing about talks of a Top Gun sequel for a while, and thinking, oh man, that'd be cool if that happened. But again, I'm just thinking to myself, man, is that movie ever going to happen? Like Tom Cruise doing all these other things, why is this one the one that's having struggles? Because I was aware of how big it was, 1986, biggest movie of the year by far and large.
So there's
Like,
a good
not even
question
close.
though.
Go ahead.
Would it have been better to have a sequel much closer to the original, or is it better that it took so long to make one? I think it's better because it's a long time. I think it had more power as a result, more emotional power.
In
because
retrospect, I strongly agree with you, because I'll admit, as highly optimistic as I was, enthusiastic as I was going to this movie, there was this kind of back on the head like thought, not like Christ, this would be like endousing the message. I knew Tom Cruise wasn't going to do that, but I just thought about the story and how that's going to work, and then actually seeing him like, okay, because that was my one concern was, oh wow, was there too much time for this? And no, then you see the movie like, oh no, this is absolutely perfect. And man, the movie.
I'm stuck on this slide. They hit you with the nostalgia factor right here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you've got this ninja bike, the Kawasaki Ninja that everyone wanted to have in the 80s, right? You were the cool cat if you rode that to high school, right? If you had a Ninja, and that was just, that's when the super bikes were taking off in the early 80s and, through the 80s. And, you didn't have just Harleys or dirt bikes. You had these super bikes, and the Ninja was one of the first ones. And God, just so right away they hit you with it. Yeah, I can't drive 55, Sammy Hagar. There's the Top Gun sticker there, so they hit you with that nostalgia factor going in, but it's well done, right? So and Cruise actually looks pretty good here. Now he kind of looks all puffy. I don't know what he had done to his face. I mean, not that I'm going to look.
See, I saw the new Mission Impossible. To me, he didn't look puffy at all. He
didn't look puffy. He looked. I haven't seen the movie, but he looked puffy on the like on TV lately. But I haven't seen the new one yet.
Looked quite puffy.
Yeah.
I remember the Mummy.
way,
he looked really puffy in the Mummy, I thought, which was a puffy
and that
movie.
was
Anyway.
2015, 2016. So maybe he just like has transitions up and down, up and down.
Maybe he's
Puffy,
had that new
not
Hollywood
puffy again.
He's had that Hollywood depuffying surgery, perhaps.
Yeah,
plastic surgery to depuffy you.
Yeah. By the way, that aircraft in his hangar that he's got the engine covers off and he's been working on it, that's actually Tom Cruise's own personal P-51 Mustang that was built in 1946. And he acquired it in 2001.
It's tough to own that when you live in an apartment.
Yeah. Very, very tough.
And that's an extremely tricky plane to fly. That's not an easy plane to fly because of the torque. A lot of guys have been killed on takeoff. And I remember air show in Connecticut, someone won a ride in a P-51 Mustang. God damn it, the plane took off and they crashed and they all were killed. It's just so it's a tricky. I mean, it's a top of the line fight. It's probably the best piston fighter ever built. I'm sure people would argue about it. Yeah, people P-38 Lightning's pretty damn cool too. But the Mustang is up there, right?
It is.
We all know Tom Cruise doesn't let Harrison Ford near his plane.
Hey Tom, get a ticket for a spin.
Yeah.
Tom, well, can I get on that plane?
I'm
No.
feeling lucky.
And if you're a Mustang fan, car fan too, you gotta love the P-51 Mustang in real life. And this plane, this is an awesome looking Blackbird S plane. I don't know, what's the oldest you could fly as a naval aviator? How old could you be as a test pilot, or because they do say it's like this is set in the present day, right?
Yes,
and we got a Chad out there that knows a lot. Yeah. Oh, the Focke-Wulf TA-190. Yeah, that's a great plane too. But of course, then you get into the jet era. The ME-262, the first operational fighter jet. But yeah, the Yahtzees had all the great stuff, and we grabbed all their scientists in Operation Paperclip and kind of looked the other way. So,
Yes. How did we get to the moon?
yeah.
Well, yeah. Now, by the way, you mentioned the ME-262. The P-51s were credited with shooting down a number of them, even in combat. But very quickly,
landing, though.
Yes, very quickly, pilots figured out that they were better off maintaining a high altitude, waiting until the 262 went into the landing pattern to land, and he had to slow down to do that. And the B-51 would dive on it and just shoot it right into the end of the runway. that was the best tactic against those things.
Yeah, I worked at Textron Lycoming, and Dr. Anselm Franz actually designed the Jumo 004, which is in the ME-262, and he everyone knows MASH, the Huey, right? The Huey helicopter. He designed the T-53. That's a Yahtzee engine. So every time you see, and also the tank engine, the AGT 1500, that's in the M1. That's the turbine that was designed by him too. So
I was getting Chuck Yeager stuff here. This is all Chuck Yeager type stuff, like from the right stuff.
Yeah,
this is all very tribute to Chuck Yeager, I think.
Yeah,
this is
I love this.
The kids
best line in the movie.
Oh,
where am I? Earth.
Where am I?
The kid says, "No." The kid should have said, "You look very puffy. Who are you?"
Oh,
You're
so
puffy.
good.
But yeah, Earth.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty much a tribute
character
to Chuck Yeager, that whole bit there, I think.
And by the way, a number of people in watching and reacting to this movie were trying to figure out how in the heck did he come out of that airplane in one piece? The answer is they probably designed the ejection system the way the SR-71 Blackbirds works, which is there is an ejection module. The whole cockpit of the airplane is ejected from the airplane with the pilot and co-pilot or engineer inside it. And it's not until they've slowed down with a drogue chute do they actually leave that. And
like the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. So yeah, they have ways of doing this. I mean, that's basically a third or fourth generation afterwards SR-71 that he was supposed to be testing. And by the way, when he takes off in that over Ed Harris's head and they raises the roof on the guard shack, they only had one take, and they had a different airplane, obviously, than they CGI'd that thing around it. That they only had one take that they could do, and when they looked at the rushes of it, the director was like, print that.
He liked it, yeah.
It was like, that is so cool. Shack, they only had one take.
Sorry, I'm watching my show.
Obviously, then they see.
Yeah, we sound good.
Around it.
Yeah, you do.
Richard,
That was an instant
It sounds
replay.
very masculine. Richard sounds very masculine.
I know, it sounds like a man.
Couldn't get it to shut up.
What's up, Joke Man? Hi, Tom. How's your Taco Bell?
I'm just sitting down to eat it now.
Nice.
It's not passed through him already.
Funny story about that Target Valley. One day I turned on my Windows laptop and my screen background that it chooses randomly was that two mountains with a valley in between. That's in the Himalayas.
That's the Death Star, actually. That's the Death Star, actually.
Yeah. It's in the Himalayas, and it's within sight of Mount Everest. and I haven't quite been able. I tried to find pictures that listed it as the inspiration for the target location in this movie. I couldn't
Many
find
Bothans died bringing him this information. Just so
That's
that
right. They did.
Yeah.
Bradley Bradshaw. I love how his name is Bradley.
That's a very
Bradshaw.
imaginative nickname.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so good. Yeah, I know for a lot of the young cast, they had a lot of them got to choose their own call signs, and Miles Teller made it a point to have a similar name to Goose, so Rooster, same family and all. I'm like, hell yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
And I'm glad because this movie seemed to have put Miles Teller back on the map because he always had a lot of talent and he was in stuff that was good, but one of the biggest issues was he has a lot of stuff that were like bigger budget movies and they were not doing well, and he became a victim of circumstance for
He's pretty good,
all their
isn't he?
movies. And you see him in this movie, and I remember thinking, how's this gonna go? And he kills it.
I think a great nickname for one of them should have been Cock. That's a bird.
Whoa! Holy
Nicky
shit!
D.
Aroni Nikki D for $20. How are you doing, Nikki D? Says, love this film. Curious to see where they take the story in Top Gun 3. Think they'll use the F-35 in the next movie? Wouldn't put it past them. Or they stick to the Super Hornets since they are two-series. I think I'm gonna lean on the former. I'm gonna lean on the former, but hey, maybe they'll do both. I mean, if there's anything we know from a Tom Cruise movie, the answer is that you could always do more. You can always do more.
I honestly think doing a third film already is a big mistake, like you guys were saying earlier. Like, I mean, I think part of the reason the second film resonated the way it did, and I've said this before because of how Mission Impossible movies have fallen off, is just because it wasn't the sixth film in the franchise. And if we had had 3 or 4 before this, I don't know if it would have done the Force Awakens kind of business.
Good point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's something definitely to think about. You definitely could be onto something that I personally think if you're up to me, I think the ideal time for this movie, and normally for other actors, I would be concerned about time, but for Tom Cruise, I'm far from worried about time for him. I'd say maybe a 2032 release would be good. That way it would have been 10 years since Maverick. And
how did Bob from the Thunderbolts get into Top Gun Maverick is also called Bob?
Oh, I know, right? Well, that was one of his problems when he was casted for Sentry. That he was like, "Can I not be called Bob?" Like, no, you can't because that's the name of the character in the comics. Because he was like, apparently it was confusing him with his Bobs. And I know Tom Cruise also likes to have a tradition of having characters named Bob in his movies. And by the way, Nikki D, thank you again for the $20. That's an insane amount of change. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Hell yeah. Anyways, we can go on about the boys, the one lady, the boys and the lady, Bradley Bradshaw. But dude, for me, like outside of like Miles Teller impressing me, I really took notice of Glenn Powell as well. Like,
yes,
even in a day and age where a lot of the power of the movie star is mostly gone, I feel like Glenn Powell is one of those guys who definitely has all the makings of a star. He's got the cool name, he's got the right look. He's definitely oozing charisma when he's on screen. He shines in any time he appears in a movie in the scenes that he's in. I feel like he.
Do you guys need a room together?
Huh?
Do you guys need a room together? Come on, what's going on?
Not
here?
again, Mark. Not again.
Why the gay,
Once was enough.
gay theme?
Mark, listen, Glenn and I have.
Why do you think he's praising him so much? Because Glenn is such a passionate and giving lover.
And I love the fact that only Rooster knows who he is.
Yeah,
of all of them,
and they're all like, "What the hell is this?"
And all they see is this, this superannuated captain. They figure this guy can't be anything, much of a much, because I mean, come on, if you're as old as this guy and you're still a captain, You must have screwed up somewhere along the line. So yeah, they treat him, like I'll have 4 more on the old timer. It's like, oh, and it's shades of the first movie when he goes after Kelly McGillis in the bar, walks right into the ladies' room with her, and she turns him down flat. He says, "Well, please don't tell the guys I struck out." And when she's going back with the bar, she says to his friend, "Your friend was amazing." And this is, Tom Cruise screws up with Kelly McGillis, but he manages to deal with it in the end. In this one, Glenn Powell and the rest of them are all treating him like some nobody.
They call him Gramps. They call him Gramps.
They call him Gramps. They call him the old.
They're happy that he's gonna pay for their bar tab, whether he likes it or not. He's gonna pay for the whole bar's tab all night long. And man, they don't have a party, have a good time. Like I see this party, like man, I want to be at this party. This looks fun as shit. You got Miles Teller like singing "Great Balls of Fire." Obviously, a callback to the first movie. Miles Teller actually does know how to play piano, so apparently this is actually an easy tune for him to latch onto and actually go for it. So this is all Miles.
The Great Balls of Fire scene is one of the most, like, I almost laughed this time watching it.
Oh, I love it.
Because it comes off so schmaltzy and
it's so
like
good.
It's like a Hot Shot scene.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, indeed.
I love it. I love it so damn much. And
don't get me wrong, I love the movie, but it's just that this last time watching it, I'm like,
that is
they should have pulled back a little bit.
No, needs more cheese. No, I'm going to double down on my sentiment. Needs more cheese. He should have leaned in on it harder. We need more cheese in movies the same way we need more mustache twirling villains.
Yeah.
Please bring me the cheese factor.
By the way, all of these guys were in a 2-seater, but you're supposed to think they're piloting, with the exception of like when there's 2 of them. The director had to brief them on what he wanted them to do for each shot, and they had to be their own directors. He basically put them through a crash course in film direction, so that because he couldn't be up in the airplane, you needed a pilot, you needed the actor. And so for all of these air combat scenes that were actually practical effects and they were actually filming them, they were their own directors for as long as they were in the air with the airplane, which I thought was amazing because they all did a fantastic job of in their roles in the cockpit.
Agreed.
Activating the camera then, or how? I mean, are they just not filming nonstop? Probably, right?
Well, they were filming nonstop, but he had to tell them, this is what I want to get from you for this shot. And
was it digital film? Like it must have been digital then, obviously, in the plane like that. Yep. Yeah. Wasn't this film for IMAX, but I guess it's an IMAX digital camera.
I think it was.
I'm pretty sure 99 or all percent of this movie was shot digitally, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But they were basically giving themselves their own direction. And if he didn't like what he saw when they got back on the ground, he'd talk to them and they'd have to go back up and do it again. And I don't know if you know this, but if you've ever got anybody I've ever seen get a ride in a fighter plane like this, where you're there with a pilot who does anything like acrobatics, almost everybody pukes.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of puking on set for this one. There was a lot. I heard a lot of vomit. Miles Teller apparently was one of the worst doers of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's very hard. You don't realize what I mean. They pulled 10 G's coming out of the target. I can tell you, people I've seen. Jeremy Clarkson was one. This is a callback to the first film when Kelly McGillis says to him, "How did you see him?" He says, "Well, I was inverted over his cockpit." "What were you doing there?" "I was giving him the bird."
That's the scene. Just that was when you're saying that. That's the shot right there. There you go.
Yes, inverted, that's it. That is from the first movie. He pulls the same stunt on one of the Top Gun students of his that he pulled on on the enemy plane in Top Gun. It's great. And you
It
know what's
more-
cool? There are so many member berries in this. There's so many callbacks to the first film,
Mhm.
but you don't have to have seen the first
Nope,
film to watch
not at
this
all.
and enjoy it.
And they're very quick and very quick about it too. Like they give you a that way you're not really distracted by it and like dwelling on it forever. Because that's the thing, you can do those things, and then all of a sudden, sometimes it can think you, oh god, I'm now thinking about the past and not being in the present, lost in the story. Because you gotta get lost in the story of these things. It doesn't take away from the main story whatsoever. It's quick.
Right.
It shows you a snapshot of it, and then you're sucked right back in to the present. So for context. So yeah, it really does hold up on its own 2 feet. There's definitely a very similar flow, but there's just enough different ingredients where it stands on its own 2 feet in terms of differentiation from the first movie to the second movie. Because yeah, there's definitely a few similar beats, emotional beats, the way the movie flows throughout the story and the action. But yeah, there's just enough there that makes it different, but not too different at the same time. I think that's definitely what works to its advantage. It's similar, but it's different. Or you decide which comes first, but you get the point though, and that's good because figure out
It's a
that balance
superior
is really
film than the
tricky.
original because it actually has a fucking plot. Like, I
Yes.
mean, the original film does have a story. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's about who's going to be Top Gun, and then Goose dies, and then they go to war. Right? Like,
Mhm.
that's the first movie.
The war
Yes.
part is so tacked on too. It's just like they
Exactly.
tack that on. It's like an afterthought.
It feels like the end of Stripes, right? Like, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to do this now.
We got to have them do something. Yeah.
But it flows better than Stripes. I will say that. At least this movie, there feels like that ticking time clock is always there, right? Like this is leading up to
Yes.
something they've been called in from the start. So that helps this movie overall. Plus, it actually succeeds where The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Palpatine failed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bringing a sequel back after many years, and how do you continue to ride that momentum and still maintain the goodwill after that many years, and hope that old timers will like it along with newcomers? Yeah, this movie did what Star Wars absolutely failed to do.
By the way, in this scene, this boat throughout the scene is actually sailed by these two actors.
No shit, I did not know
Looks like
that.
they're sailing.
Damn.
Yeah, they didn't put a
crew.
professional crew. And that sail is called a Jenniker. And I've
Genoa.
crewed on a 42-foot sloop, and we only flew that sail one time, and it took three of us, besides the guy at the wheel, to manage that sail. To do that single-handedly when you've never sailed before, like Tom Cruise is doing, is absolutely incredible. And that's an awful lot of wind for a $15,000 to $20,000 sail, which is what that sucker costs.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a spinnaker or the Genoa, and
Well, it's
Yeah,
an asymmetrical spinnaker, so it's called a Jenniker.
a Jennifer.
has to be-
I think you made all the men in the chat love Jennifer
I was just
Connelly
getting
even
the-
more
Yes,
Just
when you
look how
let
well
out
Tom
that
Cruise got
information.
that up. I mean, that's exciting, but
Well, you
Wow.
don't have to ever question Tom Cruise when it comes to getting things up, Mark.
yeah. But that is very difficult to, especially in that heavy air like that, to get that up. So,
yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
he
lot of
was
wind
able
to
to
be
get it up.
sailing.
but I guess
yeah,
with
that's-
Jennifer Connelly there at the helm there, when she's at your wheel, it might be easier to get things up then. So
yeah,
Sailing wind,
Great
getting
shot.
things up, everything about this just sounds super homoerotic.
it's a Mustang in the background there. Oh, nice '66 Mustang. Yep, VW.
This part of California looks awfully nice. Just saying.
And Jennifer Connelly is just always an all-time gorgeous lady too. So, they were questioning why. What was the other act? The original
Kelly
actress?
McGillis.
Kelly
Yeah.
McGillis, unfortunately, is not. Not that I can talk, but she's not exactly looking movie star worthy these days. Unfortunately, she was much
She
older.
didn't
too
age
in
as
the
well
first
as
movie.
Tom Cruise. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
She's
don't
a lot
think she-
puffier.
does she even act anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't
think
think
she
she's
had a
been
back.
acting for a while now.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
been
think she has a
long
back
time.
to tank like Tom does. Yeah.
yeah. I went back to the first movie, and
I thought it was
She
baby
was-
fetuses.
went back to the first movie, and Penny here is basically just mentioned. She's one of Tom Cruise's conquests in the first movie. She's not on screen, I don't think. But but Goose, when he says, and you took out a 17-year-old, an admiral's 17-year-old daughter or something, and Goose turns to him and goes, Penny so and so. Yeah, she was mentioned. They did know each other. Yeah, Penny Benjamin. They did know each other in the first film in the biblical sense, but yeah. But yeah, she wasn't on screen, and I had to go find that to see. Oh yeah, she really was part of the first movie.
Yes. No, it's impressive how this movie was able to tie the threads, because when you watch Top Gun, it's not a movie that feels like there's anything that sets up for you. It feels like a really tight, awesome, badass Americana film, done in one movie. And I remember that was something I thought about is, what are they going to do to justify a sequel? And maybe you can still maybe make an argument that we didn't necessarily need it, but am I glad we have it? Oh, you bet your ass I'm glad we had, because they took obviously what happened with Goose and they made that a very the core emotional thread of the movie, the son of Goose with Rooster. And I thought, oh man, that's killer. And of course you got Hangman basically being the Iceman of this movie, Jennifer Connelly basically playing Kelly McGillis's role, and yet Maverick's role is probably the one that definitely has more definitely a little bit more different this time, since he's obviously a lot older and he's in a role of seniority. He has to teach and not just fly. Even though he does tons of flying, violates a lot of rules, but it's the whole idea, which is something Iceman say, you got to learn to let it go. And you gotta learn to pass it on. The torch has to go, because eventually your time is gonna come up. And right there, I need to see you. And he said, not a good time. I'm not asking. I was like, oh crud. And dude, rewatching this scene, I definitely felt the emotional impact of seeing this scene, because I remember when I saw this in theaters where he actually goes to visit Iceman. And something told me in my own head when I saw saying this is going to be the last movie that Val Kilmer will have done. And surely enough, it was the last movie he had ever done. And we're rewatching the scene, and it feels like, wow, crud. We lost Val Kilmer on April 1st. Literally not an April Fool's joke. And here he is. And apparently, Tom Cruise said as soon as he got on set for this movie, he said he just jumped right back into the role for it like it was yesterday. And I thought to myself, damn, that's cool that he did that. And apparently, he was very instrumental on getting him on to be Iceman. He said, I will not do a Top Gun sequel if we don't have Val Kilmer for this. And boy, am I glad he got done before it came out, because for all you know, what if it never got off the ground? Probably wouldn't happen now. Without Val Kilmer. I actually do believe Tom. He seems like the type of guy that would actually say something like that and mean it and back his statement on that. And I get it. Val Kilmer is an essential part of that movie, even though it's not a Val Kilmer movie, but his essence glooms over this movie big time.
And plus they have his funeral, unfortunately, in the movie. And that kind of works out. I mean, hard to say, tough to say, but it's nice that they were able to do that and honor him, before he actually died in real life, as the actor. And if they ever do a sequel, then I don't know, then you wouldn't want to like tack in a funeral, I guess, without having him on screen. So you have him on screen here. He is suffering from cancer in real life. And so you give the character that disease too. And so it fits, and it's a nice tribute, because these guys were enemies for most of the first movie, and then they reconcile and respect each other at the end. And it's a nice touch to know that he's been looking out for Tom Cruise's Maverick character.
Well, they were gay lovers, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
I love
Val.
Are you implying there's something wrong with that?
No, I'm just pointing out the fact. He's like, you can ride my tail anytime, and he's like, you can ride my tail anytime.
It's also about a tailhook scandal.
Get up behind
Actually,
that
she can
hot
be my
exhaust.
wingman, but
That hot exhaust, yeah.
Yeah,
love the
Val
line.
Kilmer did not deliver his own lines in this.
Well, see,
But I haven't-
apparently Joseph Kaczynski said he did. Now, I don't know if Kaczynski's not telling the truth, but I actually read an interview where he said that despite what you're hearing, that he didn't. He did. He said now it wasn't as cleaned up as it sounds in the movie. They had to definitely do some work to make it clearer, more decipherable. But he did do it. Now, but once again, I'm taking what he said with a pinch of salt.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I've heard one source that said that it was a computer generated voice, and another source that said his son actually delivered his lines.
Yeah, I've heard that too. So I don't know if it makes me wonder who's telling the truth. Is the director telling the
Yes.
truth? I don't know. Yeah, I take it with a pinch of salt, but there's one great line I forgot to highlight as we go into this amazing scene where Maverick says, "Thank you, Ice, for
Oh,
everything."
hold on, I gotta
And
pause
then
that.
and then Iceman says, "One last thing. Who's a better pilot? You or me?" And then Maverick said, "This is a nice moment. Let's not ruin it."
Yes. Yes.
Let's all right. We're gonna bring down the overlay for this one. We're bringing
Yeah.
down the overlay.
Bring down the overlay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Tom
there
Cruise
you
is
go,
looking pretty
guys.
good there still. Yeah, God bless him.
Yeah, dude.
And he's wearing jeans again too. So he went with the
Yeah.
jeans look. He went with the jeans.
That's the height how puffy he is below the waist.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah. And now we can be toxic because we have a lady there too now.
Oh, it's
lady
just ruined
pilot,
the
yeah.
vibe. Just ruined the whole.
Why is Phoenix not topless, not a team player? Well, no, in this movie, they are actually wetter in this movie than they were in the first one. The first
Because
one,
they're on the water, yeah.
Yeah, first one, they're just sandier. But this one, they actually got like wet. They got really wet for this one. And they had a nice beach to really keep them wet so they can never dry up. This is the like, you thought you could get dry in this movie? No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. You're going to be a wet one in this movie, whether you like it or not. And Nick the Greek for $1.99 says, hands up, stand up challenge for panel. What? Are you asking me to do like a pose that I cannot do? And I'll wreck my shit.
Why is that dude wearing jeans? I mean, was that like we got to have someone wearing jeans like the first movie? It's like who the hell is wearing freaking jeans to a beach in California?
Well,
wherever the heck they are.
I can't knock them because I gotta admit that I'm guilty of doing the same shit.
You wear jeans to the beach?
Not like an always thing, but have I done it? Yes.
I mean, I did as a kid in the 70s. I looked at pictures. I'm like, I'm wearing jeans to like
Nick,
to the beach.
Nick wears leather trousers to the beach.
Yes.
Now, who's Jennifer
leather at the beach?
Who's Jennifer
Under the-
Connelly looking at here?
I was gonna say who actually
Phoenix?
is like
Phoenix?
do I go for the seniority of the Mav, or do I get young and spicy with the Hangman, or do I go for the mustache of the Rooster? I mean, we all know where Culture Casino is gonna go. He's gonna go where the cock goes, so we know Culture Casino is a Rooster man. So that's not even up for discussion. That's there's no conversation there. So we'll just say it's probably somewhere in between Maverick and Hangman for Jennifer Connelly.
That's a nice
All right.
smile there. Yep.
Take care, Shadow Chaser. Thanks for listening to the show, dude. Appreciate you. And chat, of course, in 25 minutes, we will transition over to Rumble exclusively. All right. So 25 minutes. All right. As we get this fantastic. And yes, hopefully Mark will have a nice full clip of this scene. And if we're going to have one clip, this would be the clip to have. I mean, that's fine.
Oh, there's two girls there.
Yep.
Oh, there is. Whoa, that's weird.
Yeah.
It almost feels kind of wrong. It feels straight up like, who are you? Why are you there?
Yeah.
The other girl, she's a Phoenix. Okay, fine, cool. But other lady, what are you doing here? This is a man's show. Just saying. I can imagine what it was like being with the dudes. Like, oh yes, we get to do this homoerotic scene. How are we going to top the first one? Now, which one toss up for you guys? The volleyball or the beach with this football?
I like the
think
football.
You like the
Football?
football?
Okay, where are you, Mark? Do you like it sandy or do you
Volleyball,
like
the
it wet?
classic. I like the classic sand. Yeah, the classic sand. The volleyball. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and that's
So
got
by the-
Iceman's there. Yep.
Looking at the IMDb cast, Phoenix is one of the women there. The other one is Halo, Lieutenant Callie
Halo.
Bassett. Halo, played by Cara Wang.
Okay.
She doesn't feature very often in this film. She's one of the backups in the end. I don't think she got a lot of screen time, but she is one of the Top Gun grads that go to this that are selected for this mission.
I know Miles Teller said they shot a ton of footage for this movie, so maybe she did have some stuff, and it was kind of like trimming it down to what stuff stays, what stuff goes. I do feel like they were. I feel like they pulled it off what they kept. I actually
Yes.
feel like because this is around 2 hours and 10 minutes. I feel like they absolutely. I would go as far as say they absolutely nailed what they kept because I feel like we had the most essential characters. We could have the characters that you could tell who they want to prop up and make shine, whether it's for another movie or on their own other movies. Obviously, Miles Teller and Glenn Powell. So I thought, and now of course, you had the few of the veteran guys to bounce off of outside of Tom Cruise. You had John Hamm, Ed Harris. So you had the right amount of seniority with the right amount of youth as well for the art of balance per se.
Oh, funny
Going right
story.
there.
Funny story about John Hamm. He hit it big with the television series Mad Men.
Oh
And,
yeah, I've heard Mad. I never watched it, but I've heard of Mad Men.
yeah. So he suddenly had doors were opening to him because of that series, and he tells the story that one day he gets a phone call, and it's from Tom Cruise.
Holy shit!
And Tom Cruise said to John Hamm, "I want you to be in the Top Gun sequel." And Ham's like, "What do you say when Tom Cruise calls you and wants you to be in a Top Gun sequel with him?" You say yes. He says,
you asked one question: is there a volleyball scene?
and of course, he turns out to be the biggest asshole in the second half of the film. But that was the role he got.
I
But
liked
yeah.
his part as Cyclone because he had that perfectly in the middle part where he had to be this guy who was really calling out Maverick for everything, but also he had to have a sense of rationale in his arguments towards him as well. There was a sense of rationale there, so he had to think, okay, I gotta be tough on the side because he's all sorts of evil Knievel with his shit. But at the same time, he's very effective, undeniably effective. So where do I draw that middle ground, and how do I acknowledge what he does, but also call out his shit? That's from his perspective. And I get it because that's a superior, and
Yes.
you have to be the one who has to hear from their superior all the shit that went wrong. He has to be the one who has to get chewed out for it. So how do you accept that and not take it out on Maverick because you're the one who has to hear about it? I get it.
Yeah. Ham is yeah, here he is. Why are we playing games?
Oh yeah. And you know what? That's cool. I thought that was a nice, simple but great reason because they're trying to build it into a team. And it does take little, smaller, more personal things. It's not always just about the drills and the militaristic stuff. Because yes, that's obviously great, but you want them to also connect with each other personally as well. I feel like on a personal level, you take a hobby that they might all love, and you take that small hobby and bring them together for that thing that they're unified in loving.
Well, they weren't working as a team, right? And that's what
Yeah.
he's doing. He's trying to get them to work as a team.
Yeah, and using something that they may share love for physical sports. A lot of guys like sports. A lot of guys like being physical and active. And nice hot summer day in the beach. It was the perfect thing to get them unified. To
Well,
get them to
any
work
coach will
with
tell
each
you,
other.
yeah, that sports is a great way to get, especially people of diverse backgrounds or people who normally wouldn't get along with each other, to find a brotherhood or camaraderie or common ground.
And it worked because there's
Yeah.
a lot of clapback between the guys, and there's still some in this later on, but
Yeah.
you could definitely tell at least there's a lot more unification now. Because at first there's a lot of ice breaking, and there's no pun intended, but man, they break the ice, and you can feel the impact of it.
Well,
And
his
I
first
love
attempt was a failure, right? He tried to turn them all against him. That didn't work.
right.
Mhm.
I love the fact that when Hondo, who's been refereeing the game, suddenly finds himself with the ball and tries to take off with it, every single one of the pilots jumps on him.
Mhm.
Why? Because he's the guy who made him do the push-ups. And this is them getting even with Hondo for making him do all those push-ups.
Mhm.
It's great. Yeah, you told me to build him into a team. There's your team.
Yeah, and that's good. It really is the smaller things. It really is the smaller
Yep.
things, and that was a good effective way to get to it because you sometimes, no matter how logical an argument is, and no matter how much it makes sense, you gotta do something that strikes them on an emotional core, and that's what's gonna bring them together. I know that sounds maybe not great, but it does ring true when you want to bring people together in something. You can have and that you can apply it to anything. Obviously, obvious stuff like politics, but yeah, you want to have that emotional core that brings them together because that's going to be the thing that going to be like, okay, this is where we disagree on this, but this is the thing that brings us together. So it makes sense. Like sometimes you have to use emotion in a smart way to bring people together. John Hamm, who's John Hamm complaining about the way he looked? Dude's aging very well. Obviously not Tom Cruise level. Tom
Yep.
Cruise is such a rebel here. Go ahead. He literally snuck out of the house. I thought that was a funny touch. So I'm
That
like,
was hysterical.
wow,
yeah.
it's like he's a teenager all over again,
Yeah.
except that 16 years old. He still
Yeah, but-
just
Pretty
sneak
agile.
out.
But it's what's even better is that when he stands up, he's looking
Oh,
in the
yeah.
window, and her daughter is staring out the window at him. She's not fooled at all.
No.
And she says, "Just don't break her heart again."
Woo, man.
And he's like, "Oh wow, this
Yeah,
I better
this
take seriously."
This is even worse than getting caught by parents. I got caught by the daughter, and the daughter
Yes.
is chewing me out. That was
Right.
it. That's what made it even better.
There it is.
Oh, look at
Yeah, what are you doing with
Colt's
my mom?
stare.
That's great.
Oh, dude. Oh, it's perfect. His expression is perfect.
Yeah.
It's just
After
like,
going out the window so she wouldn't know he was there, he lands right
Gets
in front
caught
of her.
anyway.
It's perfect.
what's up, Bull
Oops.
Rush? Back in my day, we went to the strip club and got to fights at Team Bill. I believe you, sir. I absolutely believe you. You don't have to question Tom age is slow. Yeah, Tom Connors is looking great. What can I say?
And of course, one big part of this movie is talking about aging. Is do we need pilots, or we just have drones and AI right down the road? So that's the backdrop of this.
Not if
too.
John
We
Hamm
got-
has his way.
right.
That's
But a
why
lot
he'll
of
probably be
people-
the villain in part 3.
Yeah, but a lot of people think
Ooh,
that
yeah, that actually is a
eventually.
good idea, Tom. That's actually a really good idea. You may have already just came up with the idea for Top Gun 3. That may be it. Watch, you're gonna end up being right on that.
Like, will we have pilots in 20 years, or will you just be flying, in a virtual reality, cockpit, kind of like
It'll
they do now with
be-
the drones?
Yeah, it'll be the drones versus the humans, basically, in part 3. I mean, that's all they really can do at this point. I mean,
Yeah, because the physical body can only take so many G forces, and actually, I think women can handle the G forces a little bit better than men, or depends on your physique. But they have a special G force
don't
suit
tell them that.
that they wear. Yeah, don't tell them that they can wear. But if you have a drone, or especially with these planes with vertical takeoff and landing, so the engines can you can just do all kinds of maneuvers, but you can end up splattered all over. So yeah, it's going to be interesting what happens in the next 20 years. Although they did just
can't be
approve
having
the
no
next
women
generation fighter.
pilots.
Yeah, come on. Don't want them in our volleyball games. Yep.
No.
Just men.
So,
If I want to watch
earlier-
women volleyball, I'll watch women volleyball. I mean, I'm just...
So earlier we touched very lightly, I guess I specifically on the pushing back of the theatrical release of this movie. Paramount Plus was trying to really push for this to go straight to streaming as a way of showing off Paramount Plus, which is to be fair, in their in their eyes, their perspective, that's a good way to premiere a streaming service.
You'd have
Is to
thought they
do
would have
something like
learned from
that.
this too, but they didn't.
But Tom Cruise was like, no, we are keeping this thing in the damn theaters. And that apparently they also tried to think, oh, what about day and date? And he said theater, 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 theater. There, he did not bend for a single second on that. That was this is a theatrical release. So yeah. I get from their position why they entertain the idea. Obviously, they're looking at it from a position of uncertainty. But Tom understands this is a movie best seen in theaters. Stop with the doom and gloom. We need to get our asses back in a theater.
Well, I just love the message that Tom Cruise did before the movie started. He basically, like some podcaster, he just sat down in front of a camera with a microphone, thanked the audience for coming, and said, and that was like, I've never heard a movie star do that before. That was so in character for him as an actor, though. And what you're saying, where he was adamant this thing had to be in theaters, that fits perfectly for him to say, okay, thank you for coming out to the theater to watch this movie. Yeah. I was like,
yeah, we need more actors like that. Yeah. Instead of knocking the audience or telling like the Doctor Who actor, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Don't watch our stuff. Yeah, go away now. But but you do want, and movies are, you could argue in some ways, are dying out. I mean, the theater experience, they're worried about that. So yeah, and with the vid, and I don't know if any other actors could have pulled this off though. Tom Cruise is probably one of the few actors who could tell the studio. I guess he's a producer on this too, but just tell the studio, no way, Jose. Not gonna happen. So, but another actor, they wouldn't have had that power. But is Tom Cruise the last real movie star in Hollywood? I mean,
I'd say Keanu Reeves as well. Keanu Reeves definitely has some power too. I mean, you could say there's still a limit to his reach, but at least
there's no real big stars there. Like The Rock is not a big draw. Like The Rock,
I wouldn't count him as one because outside of San Andreas, there's no other movie that we know him for headlining on his own. Everything else that's big is an ensemble cast that he's attached to. The only thing that was big in his name was San Andreas. And no, I don't count Black Adam because that's based off a pre-established IP. San Andreas, you can at least say, okay, that came off his own name. So not, based off of something else. But no, now he definitely probably makes a lot more money than Tom Cruise for doing a lot less work, but I guess that's just Tom Cruise having a little bit of Charlie Sheen in him and having some passion, some winning in him. That's all that is. He's really invested in winning. You know what? That's fine.
It's like winning.
You gotta be winning, man. Gotta be winning.
Gold standard. You're back there in Hollywood making movies right now because of us.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
What we're doing. I'm on the phone with every studio at night. Insurance companies. Producers. And they're looking at us and using us to make their movies. We are creating thousands of jobs.
God bless Tom Cruise.
I personally I remember what I said back then about the clip, and my stance still stands to this day. Sounds like he was just being a leader with his job. I saw Christopher McQuarrie's reaction to that clip, and he said, people got to understand, working on movies is hell. We all have moments like that, including myself.
Is that Maverick?
Hold on. No, I'm talking about the director from the last few MI movies.
Yeah, no, but I said with that clip from Tom Cruise, was that during the filming of Maverick, or was that
I think it was
That was
from
during
Dead
Mission
Reckoning.
7.
Mission 7?
Dead
Okay, yeah,
Reckoning.
during the vid,
But
yeah, going crazy at people for violating the vid protocols. Yeah,
yeah, but Corey said, we all have our moments, and he said that he admits that he has them too. And he said, we all have our moments. He said doing these things is a massive undertaking, especially when there's a very physically demanding movie like the Mission Impossible movies. And even before I knew that additional detail, I just thought, okay, that sounds like a guy who's trying to be professional and people are fucking off. And they probably would not, he probably told them nicely, hey guys, we got to do our job. And they probably wouldn't listen. And he lost his shit. So what? Really? So what? At the end of the day,
it wasn't as bad as the Christian Bale.
No,
losing
in
his
this
shit at the poor
instance,
lighting guy.
no, in this instance, what it was is the lighting guy was like walking through his eye line in the shot in the middle of the shot or something like that. In this instance, what happened was he caught, I believe it was like a script supervisor and either I don't know if it was some other person related to the crew on that day. Like the guy who handles like the I think it was the multimedia facility where you go and see the dailies or whatever you want to call them there. When you want to watch take. I guess he caught them both within proximity of each other without wearing their masks. Or they had them shoved off.
Wasn't there mega fines for that, Tom? Wasn't there like mega fines if you were breaking protocol?
Well, not just mega fines, they were going to shut them down.
Yeah, that was the big one, the shutting down. It wasn't just a fine.
Because they already got shut down once for somebody getting COVID, so yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, he just went off. He went off because they were violating the protocols on the shoot.
Yeah.
And he just was like,
a little orangina. Go ahead, finish. Go ahead, finish. We just need to show some orangina.
Yeah, I don't blame him for that. The Christian Bale one, I think he wanted a. I mean, I could see where as an actor you get pissed off during the scene, but maybe he went a little bit crazy. Unless the lighting guy kept doing it or something he said, but I don't know. He lost his shit a little bit too much. But Tom Cruise had skin in the game too, right? You're trying to get mission.
He does.
Oh yeah,
he's creatively involved in these movies.
Yeah.
He had it's more skin in the game, more ways than one. It isn't just I'm acting in this movie. He's involved with a lot of creative stuff. He works closely with his directors. He's in constant communication with a lot of people from the top to the bottom. He's always in touch with everybody.
Well, it's not only that. He's a producer. He invests his own money in getting this project done. Yeah. And he's like, you're risking my money. He didn't say that, but that's the gist of it.
Yep. Yeah, and I get that. Yeah, like he gets punished for this too. It isn't just the directors, the studios, but he gets punished as well. So,
well, he goes on to say, there's a lot of people relying on us, and he's like, if I see you do it again, you're going to lose his job. So it's like he's telling the other guy, he's like, you better watch his ass because if he's fucking off, I'm going to fire you for him. Like,
yeah.
Because he fucked up. So like he went to town on these two guys, whoever they were. I don't remember exactly where. Like I said, they were like some semi-low level like guys on the crew, I guess. But like he was not fucking around. He's like, if I catch you again, you're gone. And then he's like, and if I catch him, I'm gonna fire you too. So that means he's gonna lose his job because of you.
Yeah.
It's too late for sorry. You want to say sorry? Say to all the people that are losing their houses in Hollywood.
Yes, I heard about that, Vince. The upcoming space project. I hope it's good. I know he's got that. I know he's actually talking about going forward with the Days of Thunder sequel as well, which I'm really looking forward to. So I know those are things he wants to do sooner, though. So those are things he's like probably you could say he's fast tracking. They'll be on the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and he's also talked about doing Les Nessman or whatever the producer.
Oh, Les Grossman. Yes.
Les Grossman.
He said that he is talking with McQuarrie. They're trying to figure out some ideas, to justify that sequel. But dude, I'm so in for that.
Oh
Look
yeah.
what I just found.
I like that words out
Speak
of
of the
context.
devil.
It wasn't hard.
McQuarrie says plot of
Oh.
Top Gun 3 is already in the bag. It wasn't
Well, that's the
hard. Yeah.
plot. That's. I still give
Very-
that. If I had to guess when that comes out, I would say not until at least 2028. Even then, that might. And I still stand by ideal time would be like 2032. But I am looking forward to Days of Thunder. Dude, work on Days of Thunder. Work on your space
Yeah.
movie. Get that Les Grossman in. Do some other stuff. Maybe throw in another oddball movie, whether it's an original some, and then come back to Maverick. Because by that time it'll have been nearly a decade, if not a decade.
Wait a minute. Les Grossman in Maverick Top Gun 3 would be awesome.
Oh, God,
yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
is that a thing? I didn't hear about that one.
Well,
The
there is a
Charles-
sequel, supposedly.
Yeah,
I
he's
hope so.
talked about that for a while, but he's also been talking about a sequel to Days of Thunder lately too.
Yeah.
That's one he seems to what that I mentioned. He wants.
Well, that
he's
makes the
looking
most
to fast
sense.
track. It
Instead
does.
of doing
Days
a fucking Top Gun 3, like, look, I get it. People like are kind of excited for it, but it's like, what do you
Yeah.
think the story is going to be? Like, that's what I was just saying. Like, it's probably just going to be about the drone program taking over and the last few members of the Top Gun program. And Tom Cruise, yeah, he'll probably be in it, but I don't know how much. I don't know if they'll actually have him be the main focal point, or if it'll be, like you guys said, Rooster and Glenn Powell's character, Hangman. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
So
No,
interesting, yeah.
that's why I think having a little bit more time away before he does that would be better for Top Gun 3. I feel like because I'm glad he's really serious about these other ideas. Because to me, it's saying, okay, yes, Top Gun 3's what I'm getting out of it is it's talked about, it's being worked on, but it's not the priority right now. There's other things he wants to get out first. And it's clear he's recognizing the recognition for Les Grossman, Days of Thunder. It's like, okay, awesome. Let's get that stuff going. Let's get it done first. The Top Gun 3, we can wait on that a bit. Let's make people really miss it, and then once it's time, boom, go for it. So,
I was looking up who
I'm
was
right on that.
I was looking up who the oldest pilot was in active Air Force, and in 2015, pilot Tim Kurtz, Commander Tim Kurtz, age 54, flew last landing on in New Orleans. So he was the oldest aviator. So there was a guy that was 54 years old who was still a fighter pilot in the Navy.
Just a child
54.
at 54.
Yeah, how old is Tom Cruise now? Is he
63?
783.
I think he's 63. I'm looking
Yeah,
at
he's,
him right
he's
now.
63, I think.
62. Oh, he was born on the 3rd of July, 1962.
So he'll be 63.
Yeah, he'll be 63 soon. Yeah.
Holy
crap.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
man, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
That's seriously, that's so fucking crazy. Like, dude, it's weird to think like he's been in movies I've been seeing at the theater for over 20 years, and he was in his 40s when I started seeing him in movies. My dad, who's a veteran, he saw the first one with a lot of his military buddies. They saw the first Top Gun as a premiere because they prioritize a lot of veterans for seeing the first Top Gun. And he got to see one of the very first screenings of it. And that's a cool thing too. There's obviously always a lot of acknowledgement of the military for these types of movies. Like even on like the red carpet as far as access to who gets to see it. And it was like the biggest thing at the time. Everyone in the military was excited about this movie, being hyped about it, talking about it after it came out, singing again and again. And for him, it was exciting for him and everyone else who he knows from the military because like, holy crap, we're actually getting a Top Gun sequel. He said apparently a lot of guys at the time did want a Top Gun sequel, even though there's not really any hints of setting one up. He said that people did want one. He said they were kind of worried that it was never going to happen. So in case you're wondering, was anyone in the past clamoring for it? Yes, I can confirm. There were lots of dudes who were saying, yes, we do need this.
Yeah, if you want to know how big the first movie was of the military, I have a cousin who was a rear seater in F-14s in the Navy in the 1980s.
Wow.
And he went to Top Gun. He was a Top Gun graduate as a backseater. And I asked him about it because, of course, he just couldn't stop talking about the movie. And I said, "How popular is this? Like at Oceana Naval Air Station and amongst the pilots that fly off carriers?" And he went, "Are you kidding me? None of them could get enough of it." He says, "I know guys who've seen this movie like 6 times." And this is the same year it came out.
Like the best recruiting film ever, right?
It was. It was. Yeah.
Okay, so we got the Dead Man for $2 says watch JRE Joe Rogan Experience AJ Gentile. I have heard about this. I have not watched it yet. I do plan on getting to it hopefully as soon as possible. Thank you for the $2 a Dead Man. As soon as I know, I will tell you my thoughts on it, guys. We're going to transition in less than 2 minutes over to the Rumble side where we'll view this astounding third act and then watch a clip or two from the movie. And we want you to come hang with us exclusively on Rumble because we're going to play the entire beach scene on Rumble. So you want the men, you want them wet,
Get your
you want to
tissues
play
ready.
football. Line up those tissues. You want to come get wet with us? It's got to be on Rumble. Rumble's the only place where we get to show everything. So please come with us on Rumble.
Yeah.
Right here is the link. We are transitioning in less than 1 minute. I agree. Hell yeah, bitch. And once again, getting into that awesomely badass third act. Oh, I love this shit. Bro, like, I remember just seeing this, in the theater, even the second time.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come. Oh.
The first part gives me so much shrinkage.
I love that. I loved it. I just love the compression vapor coming off those airplanes going around those corners. Those are really motoring.
All right. All right, motoring, motorboating, and all. Chat, 30 seconds. All right, we're going. We are going to do this. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going exclusively on Rumble. For those of you who do not join us, thank you for your time, your comments, engagement, your energy, your super chats. Absolutely fucking awesome and badass. And I'll let you guys know next week's movie in case you don't come on Rumble. We are doing Tommy Boy next Tuesday night. So please come back for more for Tommy Boy. And for the rest of you, we'll see you on Rumble for the great transition. Thank you.